Hey, what's up everybody? 3D Theory here. Today is August 30th, 2024. It is 10:01 a.m. and this is vlog number 48. If you guys are new to this channel, this is my tiny 3D print farm of 5 Bambu Lab A1 3D printers that I run production for my larger product. But on these Bambu Lab A1 3D printers, I print out a set of latches, left latch, right latch, left plate. By the way, they come out real nice in PETG, and right plate. And these connect to a larger product that I don't really talk about because it's not 3D printed, and also for business obligations as well. But nonetheless, this 5th Bambu Lab A1 3D printer I use for near empty spools of filament. So right here we have a near empty spool, that gray PETG that I use, and I got some more down in that box there. And whatever one full spool can't do, I put it on here and turn on the auto refill system, which means you just apply the same material and apply the same color onto the program in here. It's real simple. And once one finishes during a print, it'll just move on to another one and use that other one to finish up the plates and latches, and we got those there. It is 74.5 degrees Fahrenheit in the 3D printer room, and it is 52% humidity in here. And by the way, all the 3D prints you see here, including the laser blade from Lightyear, are all available on my Maker World for free. You can download it and print it out. The link's in the description. We got the Sith throne from Star Wars Episode 9. We got Vader's throne from the Kenobi series. And green over here has fallen over. We got green from Rainbow Friends. We got Bo-Katan's throne from Mandalorian Season 2. These are thrones for your phone. I have a makeshift phone somewhere, but can't seem to find it right now. But you just place your phone there and these things recline. And also up here, we got a stealth French side table. You could print out and just use for whatever you want. And some cool little trinkets over here. We got the Santa hat with legs. And this yellow is a table side bucket. And over here, you got a little bit of a fidget toy. And a couple of pen cups. One is a flower pen cup and one is a geometric pen cup. And if you want to take on this pretty big project, this is the Lightyear laser blade. I have a link of the video I did to put it all together in my Maker World, so there's a guide to help you out there. And little master multitasker desk buddy. You can give it to a friend or coworker or whoever, and it kind of puts a little smile on their face and lets them know that you recognize that they do a lot and you appreciate it. By the way, for those of you who haven't seen the finished product of the Lazy Day tray, this is it. It was printed out on the Creality CR6 Max. And in the middle there, you can put your popcorn. You can use the cup holders there on the side. It even has a spot for your handle for, so you got a coffee cup, coffee mug. And you got little holes in there to be able to put M&Ms or whatever you like, even remotes or whatever. And this is supposed to go in the middle when you're laying in bed, having a lazy day, watching movies. You can put your phones here, or if you're watching iPad, you can put your iPad there. These are iPad slots and iPhone slots, or just phone or tablet slots, really. But yeah, this is the final result. It's printed out in black PLA. Again, done on the Creality CR6 Max. It was really cool. For those of you who haven't seen it, this is it. This is a work in progress project that I don't know exactly the direction we're going to head with it, but I'm imagining we would take it forward. I would kind of turn it into a shell as opposed to a solid block here, because this isn't how I would want to make it anyway, for injection molding purposes and all that. Yeah, it would be real interesting to see what we can do with this, but nonetheless, this was a fun little print I did on the Creality CR6 Max. And over here, I haven't forgotten, this is the Stealth TV tray we're working on. We got some parts over there, and we're gonna actually continue this today. We found out in the last part of this series that the way I have it set up now, which has a dowel in there, so don't watch the last vlog, but the vlog before that, which shows what I did. And since then, we just have to adjust the tolerance here, because this broke as I was, hammering it in basically. And there are some other things we got to do. So these are little parts that fit into each other. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to go into Maya and design those things in 3D and get them ready for printing. We have not yet received our shipment of filament, and I think it's going to arrive in port, yesterday. It was the 29th. So It should be in port. I haven't gotten any updates on the tracking, but we should be receiving it a week from now or maybe a week and a half from now. So that filament's gonna give us the ability to print out the Stealth TV tray fully, and I cannot wait. That's gonna be really fun. But nonetheless, I'll see you in the computer. All right, guys, so we're here in Maya, and this is the isolated leg that we were working on. And the issue came when I had hammered this part in to here, this wall broke. So with that being said, we're gonna have to make this a little bit smaller so that we can have a little bit of a tolerance gap for when this thing sags because of the tree support. So with that being said, I kind of want to see where I was at with the tolerance here. So I'm going to duplicate that, bring that over. I'm going to throw this in a layer. I don't know what this layer is for, so I'm going to just delete that one. And let's hide this. I'm going to bring this back to where it is. And I'm just going to go ahead and just delete parts that I don't need. For example, I don't need the dowel in the center. So I'm going to delete that dowel. Let's go ahead and open the multi-cut tool, and let's see if the options are where I want it to be. So delete the faces, the back face. Yeah, so what all that means is when I select this and I do a cut, it's going to cut in the direction where the arrow is pointing. In this case, it's pointing up. And there you go. And it deletes whatever is past that. So I'm going to do the same with this one. I got to select it first, jump into the tool, and delete that. And that kind of gives me a real simple way of just isolating what I want to work on. So with that being said, I kind of want to see where I was at with the tolerance as mentioned before. And to do that, so I'm going to duplicate this again, put this in a layer, and I just, again, want to see where I was at with it. So let me grab this, delete that. So let me grab this here, delete it, and take a look at where we're at with it. And you know what? Let me isolate that, take a look at that. We only need this part, so I'm going to delete that as well. And maybe this way we can see how much of a gap we had. Yeah, that's a pretty tiny gap. So I think where we had it, where the gap was we kind of let it be 0.05. So out here in the real world, we have our little tolerance tool, and this is kind of more closely resembling the shape that we have with that piece that we're working on. So I kind of want to let it go in and out freely. And this one more or less enables that. So I don't want it to be too loose, like where we're at with 0.2 millimeter tolerance. I feel like that's a little too loose, but I feel comfortable doing maybe a 0.15. Because right now we're at a 0.05. We could also try a 0.1, but I don't want it being too tight. And that fits in and comes out pretty easily, but there is this, sagging that occurs because of that tree support. So what I'm going to do is just go with a 0.15. All right, with a 0.15 in mind, let me make sure I'm in millimeters here. Yep, I am. I'm going to grab a square here, or a box, or cube rather. Multiply this by 10 because that's how Maya's real world scale works. 0.15, and we're going to bring that over here, and I'm just going to center that over there. I'm going to snap it to that curve there, which is the curve for the inner part, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. And from there, we're just going to go ahead and modify center pivot. And I'm thinking that we just need to grab the outer parts here like that. And then we could just scale. We can scale down to where we need it to be at. We have some funky thing going on here. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe I can reset the tool. All right. That should actually work as it's supposed to. Sometimes there's some history left on the tool, so I just go ahead and I reset it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and scale that in, and that looks about right. I gave myself a little extra gap there, but just to be safe, I'm going to bring that in to where it needs to be. Yep. That's about perfect if you ask me. And that should give us the tolerance that we need. It'll go in without snapping anything, hopefully, and we wouldn't need to do it again. But nonetheless, we're gonna print this out and give it a try. Since we're scaling in all directions, this is gonna be off a little bit, so I'm gonna show you what I mean by that. So as you can tell, it kind of has this gap now because it's scaled not only in X and Y, but also scaled in Z, and that's Maya Z. Z is, let's say, through, and Y is where Z for what we're used to seeing in, say, slicer softwares. So nonetheless, I'm bringing that through, and that looks good to me. we got that nice big gap, and we have to attach this back to the bigger part now. So we really don't need this extra one we created. I would want to just print this part out and see if it fits in nicely. And that will, allow us to gauge with very little filament being used whether it worked or not. So I'm going to go ahead and fill the hole here. And let me grab this one. Let me extend this out just a tad bit and fill the hole there. And we're just doing this so we can see if these fit in together the way they need to. And I think that's going to be real nice. But nonetheless, let me... all right, so I just put that in a layer, and we can move on to some other parts. As you know, here's our list of to-dos. And I say as you know because some of the previous stuff we worked on. So I put a lowercase x here because I did adjust one of the holes, which was this one here, but I didn't do it to any of the rest of them. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to just delete this. This little piece that we created, I actually don't need it. So I'm just going to delete that. We have the tolerance test here. I'm just going to name it tolerance test. And we can go ahead and duplicate this and, remove it from the layer so it doesn't go back in with it. And I just need this cylinder where the hole is at. And to do that, I'm just going to go ahead and select everything, deselect everything around it, and I could just go ahead and do extract faces. All right, guys, so we have this enlarged hole that we need for all the other parts that we're going to adjust. So I'm going to go ahead and open one of those files. And as a matter of fact, we have our cutout test over here. So all those pieces we cut out, we can kind of take a look at them and adjust as we need it. So we don't need this anymore. We're not going with that idea. We don't need that piece. These actually worked really well, so we don't need to worry about those. These screws, we're not going to touch them. We're only messing with the screw holes. This piece worked out pretty good. I'm kind of thinking whether or not I should increase the tolerance, but it worked well, so I'm not going to mess with it. This also worked very well, and this is the screw hole we're going to need to adjust. This one, I feel like we can adjust it slightly because we do want it to kind of get stuck in there. These worked very well, so we don't need to mess with those. It was only these pieces here. Let's see what else. We have different parts of the model here. This we don't need to mess with, and so we can delete that. And this piece we definitely need to adjust. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the screw holes, I think at a later time, especially because we don't need them right now. So I think we'll adjust the screw holes as we get closer, but I do want to retest this piece. This is the piece where I'm going to need it to get stuck in there. So let me actually grab this piece, copy it, and paste it into here, and use this as a guide of how big we need to make the screw hole. And again, to find the center of this thing, it's pretty simple. So I'm just going to go to one side here and go to the edge. I may not be able to just grab all the edges. Oh, but this one worked. So I'm just going to hit Shift and extrude, and I'm just going to say Control left mouse button to vertices, then Shift right mouse button merge vertices to center. And it doesn't need to be perfect. I'm just using it as kind of a guide. There you go. And we can go ahead and just delete that. We don't need this at all. All right. Now that we can see how big we need to make this hole, we can go ahead and start working on that. Again, I don't want to make it too big, but I'll go halfway there. So I think right there is a good medium point for me. And we're going to test print this piece out. We're going to call this tolerance test 2. And we're just going to leave this as a lowercase x because we need to do it for the rest of them. So deepen connecting points for under table bars. Okay, so we're back here, and this was the connecting points for the under table bars. But since these are in pieces, let me actually work on this piece over here so that it goes in and it stays in. And I think if we just bring it down just a tad bit, I think that's going to work just fine. But at the same time, I don't want to print this entire piece because it's a lot of filament to just be using up. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this a lot smaller. And let's see how I can make this straight because it's at a diagonal right now. All right, so I'm just going to straighten this out as best I could after bringing that plane in, just so I know I got a straight piece that I'm cutting up. I'm going to increase the size of my rotation tool, and That's looking good. So I'm going to delete that plane that I used as a guide and cut this up a little bit more. So we definitely don't need that much. Got my multi-cut tool so I can do that cut that I've been doing. All right, and there. And let's see about the bottom. This doesn't go too deep, so I don't need to worry about that. I'm just going to go ahead and cut that much. All right, that's looking good to me. So there's a bunch of edges that are going to remain from the triangulating we did last time. And I just want to go ahead and delete it. It's just going to create unnecessary geometry. Probably same with this side. Yep. All right. Very cool. So we're going to grab one side and the other and bridge it. And we could just grab this and fill hole. All right. That's looking really good. We can go ahead and test print that out. We can go modify, freeze transformations, edit, delete by type history. Go back into this scene, paste it in. All right, and we have pasted. So these are little prefixes that come in when you copy and paste a piece of geometry into Maya. So while this is selected, we go over to modify, search and replace names. For search for, we type in pasted __ replace with. We have the $sign. Make sure all is selected and you just click replace and it deletes that prefix. All right, now that we have that finished up, we can kind of go in and do this drawer unit. Let's see what we have left on the list. On the list here, we have deepen connecting points for under table bars. We just did that. Then we have increase drawer tolerance. We're going to do that right now. Hexagonal pole should be smaller. Pole hole. But I think we're just going to leave that for now. Mark it to know how deep the dowel went in. Oh, I see. Okay, and make tolerance slightly larger. And we did this as well. So on the dowel, we can do that marker, but we're not going to do that for this because it's nothing that we need to test out. I just want to create a little line, a little slit on the dowel here. So I kind of want to just go in and make like a small little slit, and I could do it now. I just don't want to make a huge slit to the point where it'll weaken the object. I'm going to vertex snap it here. I just want to go ahead and isolate the dowel. And I know that, so this is where it kind of pokes out of this section, and I want to know because last time it was a little hard to tell how deep it went, if it was deep in there enough, or if it was, you know, sticking out just a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and create a little bit of a bevel here, turn off chamfer, and this is moving way too quick. I could slow this down. There you go. And we only needed about to there. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab this center piece here, center edge, and bring it down just ever so slightly. I don't want to do it too much because I want to maintain the strength there. So that should be about fine. I actually want to bring this in a little bit more to really accentuate that. And in that way, I know when this is, let me harden the edges. When this is in there, I can tell, hey, it went in where it needs to go in. So that's actually looking pretty good too. And you know, since we already did it, let's might as well just mark it off. And we did it. Yep, we already marked it off. All right, very nice. And let's work on the drawer. And since we don't need another one of these because I already have one, we're just gonna go ahead and work on making the hole over here larger. All right, so I'm gonna grab this guy, bring it in, and the tolerance is very tight there. Let me find the center line so I can line it up properly. And to do that, I'm gonna go ahead and create another square here, just bring it over, or a cube rather. And I'm going to extend the vertices and snap them to the edges. And with that, I can now just grab an edge, create a split there, and do a multi-cut. But we need to reset the tool so it doesn't cut it like we have been using it to do. Select our object. Let's kind of match it up as best as we can first. There you go. And I'm just going to vertex snap that there. So we have the center of that object. Let's do the same thing with this here. I'm going to delete this center. All right, and we're not going to want to line it up to these edges because these are where we cut them, but rather these inner edges. So let me line it up there, there. And from there, I can grab the multi-cut tool, do a center cut there, and again, grab that multi-cut tool and do a cut this way. Now we're going to snap that together. And that's looking good. Let me bring this over, snap this object here. And as you can tell, the tolerances are extremely tight. Out here in the real world, we have this square, and it goes in real nice and easy because, you know, that drawer is pretty much a square. But there are a bunch of tree supports that get built up in the place where the drawer lid goes in, so there might be some sagging. I'm considering doing a 2 where there's ample space, or even a 0.25. I think I'm going to go with a 0.25, and if that's too loose, we can go ahead and fix that. but I do want to make sure I have ample space, and this 0.25 feels real loose. I'm kind of tempted to go 0.3 just to be extra safe, because there's just so much tree supports that get built up in there. As a matter of fact, let's do 0.3. Let's just be very safe with it and give us ample room to kind of move around with that drawer. So I'm going to go ahead and create a measuring cube, and we're going to multiply this by 10 because that's just how Maya works for real world scale. And we're going to do 0.3, and let's see if we can get that looking the way we want to. That's actually more than 0.3 there. I wonder if that's a 0.32. Maybe a 0.35? Looks to be a 0.35. Okay, why don't we stick with 0.35 and make everything the same? So I'm going to go ahead and just grab this, bring it on down to its edge, and raise this up. But I want to make sure I'm grabbing everything here. So let me isolate this and actually grab the face. Yeah, you know what? It doesn't go all the way around. So we're set there. Probably grab all this stuff. So let me go over to vertice mode. Let's grab all the stuff here. Okay. And now we can go ahead and adjust. I'm actually going to bring this pivot over so I can use it right next to it here. Might as well just bring these up too. It's not necessary. There's nothing really influencing that, but we can just bring those up as well just so it has a little bit cleaner geometry. Nothing too important. And there you have it, 0.35 there. That should give ample amount of space. I'm just going to undo and redo, see what happened here. Make sure I'm doing everything correctly. Yep. All right, that should give all the room we need. And how deep is this going? Is that where it needs to be? Yeah, I think so. So that's looking really good. Again, we don't need the lid. We're going to copy that and bring it over to the other scene, pasting that in. There it is. And again, this is going to have the pasted prefix. So I'm going to go to search and replace names, replace that. Let's see if anything else has anything like that. Nope. So over here we have model, panel, to view selected set. That happens because these isolations are selected in different views, and I'm just going to go ahead and start cleaning up the scene here so we can get it ready for printing. Take these out of the groups and delete them. So we have some funky geometry over here. I don't really like the way that's looking. I'm going to go ahead and delete that, and possibly even that one, as well as that one and that one. And none of this really matters on the outside, but I just want to make sure it prints cleanly for our test here. All right, so we have, let me put this in a layer as well, actually. This will be tolerance test number 4. All right, so we have all of our objects here. We don't need the full leg showing there. We have the drawer, the part of the bottom of the Stealth TV tray. We have the connecting points and this connecting point. And that's all we're going to need to do. We're going to grab these. We're going to go over to select, use constraint, next selection, face mode. And we're going to want to click end-sided. Make sure all the end-sided polygons, the n-gons, are triangulated for the slicer software to be able to read it. Close and reset. Grab, automatic for the UVs. Modify freeze transformations, edit, delete by type history. And now we're ready to take this into Bamboo Studio. So I'm going to export these out as OBJs and I'll see you there. All right, guys, so we're back here in Bamboo Studio and I'm going to bring this piece in. I'm going to go 90 there, 90 here. How about negative 90? Very nice. And let's just bring that over. And that's looking good to go. I'm going to slice that and I'll see you out in the real world. All right, guys, so we got the SD cards loaded up and they're pretty much ready to go. I'm going to make sure my filament is where it needs to be. PETG, correct. Let's see the files. I don't like that doesn't show. So I'm going to go ahead and reset it. And how about this? Let's see about the filament. It's at PETG, wonderful. And the connecting tolerances are there. So we're going to go ahead and get that started. I always name my files with the time it's going to take. So I name whatever it is, __ hour and 54 minutes. Just helps me keep track of how long things are going to take. So let's go ahead and print that out. We do have the blue PETG up there. Wonderful. Over here it's the white PETG. And let's just make sure that the file is showing. Doesn't show. I guess it doesn't matter. But we know that the PETG's loaded up. Let's print that out. All right, guys, so these just finished up literally just now. But I realized that this piece here is not the correct piece. I think it was the old version of this, and so after I had extruded this part or got this part added to this part, I didn't replace it with the right file. So I'm going to go ahead and print the other side that fits into this now, and I'll see you when that and that are complete. This is almost complete too, but still has a little bit of time. All right, guys, so both of these finished up. There's one piece. All right. By the way, it's been kind of hard to clean off. I don't know what the deal is with that. But nonetheless, we also have this one here. And let's see how easy this one... Yeah, that one comes off real easy. I love that. I really love how that comes off. But now we are ready to do the real test. So let me get the pieces needed for that. So we got this piece here. It's already cleaned out, ready to go. And we have this piece here, which I want to clean these supports out first. Yep, there you have it. Okay, so here's the moment of truth. Oh, perfect. Very nice. That worked great. I could even pull it out if I want to. That, I feel, is perfect. So this piece, just as a recap, is where these two parts connect. So this is basically this side, and this is this side, and they connect perfectly. All right, very nice. Obviously this one's going to take a little bit longer because there are a considerable amount of tree supports in there. So we'll do that last. Here is that center bar, and it's tight. So if I stick that through, it's going in and it's getting stuck, and I can actually pull it through. So that's exactly how I wanted this part. And last, but definitely not least, is this connection point to the bottom bars. All right, that's great. Doesn't even come out. Yeah, I like that. This one will probably require a little bit of glue, but really perfect. I can make it even tighter, but I think I'll leave it and just glue it together, or maybe drill a hole. I don't know yet. I'm trying to make this all 3D printed, so maybe I can make it just a tad bit deeper and make this longer so that they can kind of get stuck onto each other, and that way I don't have to use any sort of glue. And that's the main goal in the end anyway. That's great. All right, so cleaning this off, it's a little bit of a hassle, so I think I'm going to do it off camera. All right, guys, so after a lot of cleaning, that took about 20 minutes, and that's just too much effort. Maybe not 20 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, but that was just way too much effort and way too difficult to clean out those tree supports in there. But let's see how it functions. Yeah, that is smooth, and it doesn't really come out. I thought I'd have to put some sort of latching mechanism in there so that it doesn't come out, but it doesn't. So that's very good. It does come out when you pull it, and it's exactly what we wanted. That looks really nice though, I have to admit. And it looks like it did crack right there. So hopefully that's not gonna mess with the results too much, but if I were to hold that down, and yeah, it still works. So that is honestly very smooth, and I can see that working as the compartment area. But I'm wondering if maybe I should come up with something where it can open like this, or maybe like that, so it wouldn't be like so difficult to clean. I gotta think about it. But nonetheless, everything we've tried now is a success. Only part that I'm not too happy with is cleaning out the tree supports here, and I'm wondering if regular supports would have been easier to clean. But this feels so satisfying, and it's so perfect, and it doesn't even open up no matter how much I go like this and try to get it open. It did a little bit, but when it's horizontal, it's gonna stay shut. I don't know yet. What do you guys think? Do you guys think I should try to figure out a method where there wouldn't need to be any supports like that in such a tight spot, trying to clear it out? Maybe just have like a door type of lid where you can just like open it like this, put your stuff in, and close it. I think I'm kind of steering towards that, but I wonder what you guys think. At the end of the day, this Stealth TV tray is going to be put on my Maker World for free, download, and if you guys want to make it too when it's on there, keep in mind what you would like. Would you guys want to have to clean out supports like that? And there's no real no stopper here. It just kind of stops on its own, which is pretty cool, but also has a chance of the lid opening up and falling out. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. Would love to know. But nonetheless, that about wraps it up for today's vlog. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. Until next time, peace, love, and joy.